Welcome to the Fire and Earth podcast with your hosts, Jason Mefford and Kathy Gruver. Fire and Earth, giving you the keys to unlock your limitless potential.
Welcome to another episode of the Fire and Earth podcast. I'm your co-host, Jason Mefford.
And I am Kathy Gruver, and we are so excited to be back with you. And Jason, I'm excited because I wanted to share something cool that I just learned.
Well, I always like that.
Yay. So I did I know we do, as do our listeners and viewers, which is why they're here. So I did a workshop with the Dale Carnegie Institute, and it was all about communication and optimizing communication. You know, this is one of my favorite things. And so they had a really cool, kind of one of those quizzes that you take, you circle which characteristics seem to be most descriptive of you, and then you add up those columns, and it divided you into 4 communication styles: the expressor, the driver, amiable, and analytical. And I was like, okay, that's pretty cool. So I thought today we would, I could throw that little quiz up on the screen. We could talk about it. And then the really great thing about this workshop, and they offer tons of free workshops, and then of course some paid workshops as well. They gave you tips for communicating with people in other styles. And, you know, you and I have talked about this before. I'm a very direct communicator. So when people give me that rambling, oh, well, no, I can't make the 3 o'clock because, you know, my dog has to go to the vet because, you know, she needs to get groomed every 6 months because she's a show dog and she rolls around in burrs. Well, they're not really burrs, they're really brambles.
Well, if you can't come at 3, then can you come at 2?
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Great. Shut up. How about 2? I love text. Can you come at 6? Yes. Done. Boom. I have realized, though, if I want to build rapport, as we've talked about, with that person, I need to augment my communication style to be more friendly, to be more interested in them, to be more, yes, my down-to-earth, down to business person comes in handy if I'm talking with another down to business person, but I have to augment myself. So that was one of the great things about this is, you know, we can't change anybody else's communication style. We can only adjust ourselves to what the situation and the environment is. So I thought we could look over these characteristics and then talk about the styles.
Yeah. No, it sounds good, because that's a good point, is again that, you know, for communication to work, you've got to kind of match the communication style the other person would like to see. You're going to be more successful in doing that. So that's why we're going to share some screen and do some stuff here. So if you're just listening on audio, if you want to kind of come back so you can see it and do it again, just make sure, pull the phone out of your pocket and watch the video, or, you know, come back and watch it on your computer or something like that. So you can actually go through and do the exercise as Kathy's talking about it as well.
Yeah. So, all right. So I'm going to share my screen. Bye-bye.
I'll be over here in the background. I'm on the side.
Exactly. There we are. Okay, so this is actually the key, because I didn't want to have to put up too many things. So this is actually the characteristics of these 4 things: expressor, driver, amiable, and analytical. Now, so what you'll do is over here in category in line A, you'll pick which of that one best describes you. B, same thing, which one best describes you. And then add them up and see which you end up ranking. Now, do we want to give everybody a couple seconds to write down which they think they jive with? Why don't you do it, Jason? Because I already did it, so I kind of know what I am.
Well, yeah, and we can just kind of walk through it now. So yeah, so as you're looking on the screen, right? So you've got columns A through J, or sorry, rows A through J. And so if I'm looking at this right, you know, each one of them, I need to kind of pick which one I feel more relates to me, right? So if I look across the first, a futurist, a realist, a coordinator, or a reporter, well, I'd be more of a futurist on that one, right? So I'd circle that one. The next one, I've got the choice.
And I'm more of a realist.
And you're more of a realist, Capricorn in you, right? Okay. So then we've got the next one: forward thinking, values focused, people oriented, or detailed focused. Yeah, I'd probably forward thinking or values focused probably would be where I would go. One of those two. I would probably go with the forward thinker. Yeah, forward thinking. The next one, row C, a dreamer, a driver, a peacekeeper, or a doer.
I know these are hard.
I know they're hard, right?
Yeah.
And of course, obviously, the way that we've done it, you can be a little bit influenced, but yeah, I'm more of a dreamer.
Yeah.
As I've always been a dreamer. The next one, inspiring, reliable, considerate, and decisive. Ooh. Wow. Those are a little bit tougher, right?
Yeah.
Um, yeah, because I try to be all of those
Right, exactly.
things,
Yeah.
right? As far as being a good person, right?
I'm not considerate. Oh, okay.
I,
Sorry.
I might go with reliable on that one
Mhm.
more, right?
Yeah.
So that would put me kind of in a different column, but go with that one.
No, of course. Yeah. Well, see, and this is, I mean, yeah,
Because this is
because
the
we're using
key,
the key.
so you shouldn't
Yeah.
have the top on there, but
Yeah.
we figured it'd be easier just to show one picture, right?
Yeah.
Okay, the next one has a sense of mission, meets deadlines, brings people together, keeps things on track. Like for that one, I'd have a sense of mission is the one that resonates more with me on that. The next one, we've got dramatic, focused, relaxed, or curious.
This was a tough one for me.
Oh, I know, same thing, because I don't necessarily consider myself a dramatic person. I would either be probably more of the focused. Why? Probably focused. I would go with focused on that one.
Yep.
So the next one, row G, knows where he or she wants to be, knows what has to be done, knows how things should be done, or knows what questions to ask. I would probably gravitate with the first one, knows where he or she wants to be
Interesting.
on that one. Okay, so the next one, anticipates problems, solves problems, resolves conflict, or reviews methods. I'd probably go with the solve problem on that one. The next one, I focuses on outcomes, gets results, makes sure things are done, assures results are appropriate. Ooh. What's funny, all my training goes with that assures results are appropriate, right? Because
Right.
I was an auditor for so long. But that's not actually my personality.
Right.
Yeah, for that one, probably between focuses on outcomes or gets results for me. And the last one, so charismatic, prepared, easygoing, aware. I would probably go with prepared. I think I'm charismatic, but I don't necessarily consider myself charismatic per se, but I usually always try to be prepared in what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
So okay, so I guess the way that I went through it, right, most of my answers were either in the expressor or the driver column. Yep. Exactly. So my communication style, I mean, we have to add them up for sure, but I know there were some in both of those. So now I would know, at least from this communication model,
yep,
I would identify with being an expressor and or a driver.
Yeah. I think you had two more in expressor than driver.
I think so. I think I had more in there. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, definitely. All right. So I'm going to get us out of that. Stop share. We are back. All right. So I'm with you. I also kind of split the thing between expressor and driver.
Okay.
I am definitely a doer, and definitely now what is interesting is when you look at how the person communicate, how that category communicates, you might feel differently. Nope, that's the wrong one. Where is it? Okay. Where'd my sheet go? There it is. All right. So the driver likes control, very ambitious, and very results oriented. The expressors like social influence, positive expectancy, and expressiveness. The amiables are patient, composed, and a team player. And the analyticals, so not me. No. The analyticals are into precision, analytical, and they're quality oriented. So I'm sure that when you were doing the auditing, you had to bring in so much of that analytical, even though that wasn't your communication
Oh yeah.
style. So I'm with you. In looking at that, driver was totally more me. So do you feel like the expressor kind of fits you?
Yeah, because read that one again. The expressor was.
Yeah, the expressor was social influence, positive expectancy, and expressiveness.
Yeah, no, because I think, again, that's what I'm really trying to do, that mission driven, influence people, help change I want to change the world. I'm a dreamer.
Yeah.
You may call me a dreamer, but I'm not the only one. John Lennon, right? That's my favorite song. Right. And
Oh,
it's,
well, there it is.
yeah, because I do want to help change the world, help change people, make this place a better place to live. Positive expectancy. I always try to be there's the old expression, is your glass half full or half empty? I'm always the half full guy, only technically it's always full. So I'm even a step above that, right?
Yep.
Just a portion has liquid, a portion has air. But yeah, so I think that part of it, does drive with me. Because I'm more of the dreamer, which again, like we talked about in the previous episode, maybe I shouldn't be so damn hard on myself about not getting stuff done, because other people probably are better at getting the stuff done than what I am. Anyway, and I just need to let them do it anyway.
Absolutely. And one of the things I love, first of all, I love quizzes. I love things like this. Like if there was a magazine of, which superhero, I'm all about filling out the quizzes. I just think it's kind of cool. I love learning about myself. And the neat thing about figuring out these styles, and whether it's personality types with the colors or with the, Myers-Briggs or anything like that, is to realize that there are people that have different strengths. So if you're the expressor, if you're the one that's the friendly, personable one, maybe surround yourself with a driver or an analytical so that they get that aspect of it done. If everybody was an expressor, nothing would ever get done. Everything would look beautiful, but there wouldn't be as much drive to get things done. What communication style would you say you have the most trouble communicating with?
Probably kind of like you said, the people that just kind of keep going on and on and on and on and on. And it's like, come on, let's just figure it out. I can, I love to, philosophizing is great, but after a while you just got to be practical and start making a decision and move on, which is probably why I was a little bit balanced between those two as well.
Yeah.
Right. The drive for the bigger mission, for the bigger picture, for the impact and changing the world, but at the same point, actually getting shit done. Right.
Yeah.
And not just talking about it, but putting some action behind it, actually doing stuff.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, because it's interesting as you were talking about that, because as we went through this exercise and some other ones, because another communication style preference is DISC. And in DISC, they show, usually, depending on which one you do, they show your natural style, but then they show your adaptive style. Right. So your adaptive style is kind of based on, your work experience, your training, maybe the job you currently have, how you kind of adapt in the workplace and what you're like in the workplace versus what you really are naturally. Right. And I could see that, again, because all of my, most of my professional career has been audit, risk management, compliance, side of it. Very, very much those people on the right-hand side of that page.
Yep.
And so I got trained to do that, but that's not who I am deep down. I've just learned how to adapt and do those things. Problem is, I think as I'm talking now, realize that I've had a hard time letting some of those things go because they've been a part of my life for 30 years.
Yeah.
Right. And so, yeah, I need to focus on more where I'm at.
Absolutely.
Where I should be.
Yeah. Well, and again, it's up to us to adapt to different communication styles, and the rambling, I have to tell a whole story about it person is the amiables. They want to chit chat. They're friendly. They're the personal. They're the let's talk about 32 other things before we get to business. And I'm like, oh, because I'm such a driver in that way. I'm like, can we just get to the point? Like, stop wasting my time. What is the issue? And they were nice enough. The Dale Carnegie people, they gave us a little chart of how to adapt yourself to communicate with different styles. So I want to read these real quick. With the drivers, very controlled, very ambitious, very results oriented, very realistic. So I have been known to damper people's dreams by saying, you can't do that. That's not going to work. I've had to stop that. I want to be a professional singer. Well, that's never going to happen. It's like I have been known.
I'll tell you what, you can be a professional singer right now. Sing me a song, we'll give you $1. You got paid for it. You're a professional singer, but that's probably all it's going to be, right?
Look at you adapting. Yeah, no, no. I was the one that was like, that's really hard. I've lived, and I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm just such a realist with that, especially having been in that, that performing kind of profession. So, if you're dealing with a driver, get to the point quickly. Involve us in the decision-making process. Challenge them, use facts, don't waste their time, and give them recognition. That's what they suggested in dealing with a driver. If you're dealing with an expressor, which is you, be friendly and personable, include them in projects, be specific about the goals, communicate frequently on the status of what's happening, and find ways for them to use their verbal skills. So find ways for you to express, for you to write, for you to get to wax poetic with things. When dealing with the amiables, and again, this is my hardest one, I've had to really adapt myself when I'm dealing with these people. And these are the patient team player people. They suggest chit chat often, be friendly and personable, which is in direct conflict to what I want to do, which is, what is the point? Can we get this done? Here's the Capricorn with those very sharp edges.
Right, but you do a little bit of it, right? Where that person maybe might want to go on for 5 or 10 minutes to begin with, you still do it for a few minutes.
Yeah, exactly.
But then you try to pace them and get them into, okay, this has been nice, but now we need to task at hand, agenda for today's meeting, right?
Exactly. Communicate change, give them time to adjust because they're not real big with change. They want to stay on their thing. Ask them about themselves, encourage them to speak up at meetings, because I think the problem with one of the amiables is they're so into the chit-chatty stuff that they're either on or off. So in a meeting, they don't know how to get straight to the point. So giving them more time to speak up in a meeting, and then as also giving them recognition. And then the analyticals, which I think I'm pretty good at communicating with because they're also very, precision, analytical, quality outcome sort of based. Get to business quickly, present facts, ask them for their opinion, let them know it's okay to make a mistake. I think that's probably the biggest things with analyticals is I think in some cases they're so afraid to say anything because they don't want it to be wrong. So they hold back until they know they have all the facts to get it right. So just a couple tips for jumping across those borders and communicating with people.
Yeah. Well, and it's pretty simple to do, like you said. I mean, you can kind of go back, rewind, go back through kind of, we gave you enough time to, as you're sitting there looking, you can kind of get an idea of probably which of those you would fit into more. But, more important even than just realizing what you are, right, is start to try to, identify what the other people are that you're dealing with, right? So again, Kathy sends me a text. I need this. Okay. Right. I don't need to go rambling on because
I just did that the other day too.
I know you just did that.
Send me the RSS feed.
I know.
Oh, and I hope you're okay.
Yeah.
I have to remember. No, seriously, I can't tell you how many times a day I send someone an email and go, oh, shit, I should probably ask them after. Hope you're okay during this crazy time of the pandemic. Hey, can I get from you? It's like I literally have to remember to not just be so direct because it's like to me in my head that makes sense. Give me the RSS feed.
Yep.
Please.
And so when I responded, here's the RSS feed, boom, that was it, right? Because again, it's a direct kind of message because I know that that's who Kathy is. Yeah. If I'm dealing with somebody, again, who's more the what do you call it? The amiables, I think, right? Was, there'd be a little bit more chit chat. right? Back and forth is instead of send me the RSS feed, be, oh, hi, Jason, hope everything's going well for you. I've been thinking about you lately. My cat just had kittens and I'm so excited for it. Oh, by the way, I don't have a cat. I'm just making I don't have a cat. By the way, when you have time, could you send me the RSS feed link? Right? That would be kind of how they would respond back, right? Or how they would have sent the message if you were amiable. So instead of just saying, here's the link, click, right? If I'm going to respond back to that person, I would say something like, oh, Kathy, so glad to hear your cat had kittens. You must be so excited. Here's the RSS feed that you wanted. Have a great rest of your day. Right? So I would respond differently in that email if I knew that you were more of that amiable characteristic.
Yep. We got it. By George,
all right,
I think
folks. So there's a concept, there's a little exercise, and there's some practical takeaways for you, as well to help improve how you're communicating with other people.
Yeah.
Because again, probably the most important thing is how other people would prefer to be communicated to.
Absolutely. And again, it's all about adjusting ourselves. I can't sit the amiable down and go, so if you'd stop chit-chatting, I mean, I suppose I could as just my direct person, or say, hey, I love talking with you. And in order to get stuff done, why don't we do business first? We can chat afterwards if there's time. You can adjust things like that. But ultimately, it's going to be us adjusting ourselves. So recognizing what those other people are, it's going to be more efficient to get things done. And you're going to have less frustration. It used to drive me crazy when somebody would go off on the story about the kittens, and I'm like, I don't have time for that. Now I recognize that and go, okay, this is their way of communicating. I get to have a little more patience with that. I get to have a little more understanding with that. I'm still going to get heard. It's just going to have to be a little roundabout way. So it takes frustration and stress off of us when we recognize other people's communication style and we can adapt ourselves.
Amen, sister.
Amen. All right. Excellent. Go forth, communicate. How was that? Go forth, communicate. Learn which style you are. Rewind and look at the little quiz thing again. That was from a workshop I did with Dale Carnegie Institute. Great people, and that's it. I hope you guys all have I'm going to be amiable. I hope you all have a great rest of the week. Enjoy your kittens. Hope you're feeling better. Sorry about your aunt. Go forth, prosper. We love you all.
Yes.
We do.
And then I'll be the more direct. So have a great week. See ya. That's it.
I'm Kathy Gruver. Now we have to say where they can get us. I'm Kathy Gruver.
That's right.
I can be reached at kathygruver.com.
And I'm Jason Mefford. I can be reached at jasonmefford.com. Go back, rewind, figure out how you can improve your communication. Just do it a little bit. Just practice something this week, and it'll improve your relationships. We'll catch you on the next Fire and Earth podcast. See ya.